Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Circle Club Show and Tea Time. I'm here with Talia. Today, we're trying something different. We are going to rank the characters of Abbott Elementary based on this week's episode.
Boop, boop.
The principal's office. We get to see Ava be a horrific principal as always. I love that little scene where Gregory gets he's forced to go into the office, and then Mr. Johnson's like, shame, shame.
Yes.
Little callback to Game of Thrones.
Oh God, I love him. He's such a great character on the show.
He really is classic. And then we also have Melissa's sister drama, and
Yes.
Janine. It's funny because we were talking about last episode on the Circle Club and Tea Time here. We were talking about how Janine's mom issues. We're like, we think that's gonna come up in the future, and here we are. Here we are.
You called it. You called it.
So yeah, we got a little bit of that, a little bit of Melissa. Jacob, as always, is corny as ever, funny as ever. But let's jump into it. Let's jump into it. So
Let's
we got
do
some rankings
it.
here. We got best person I've ever met, Heart Eyes, I Do Not Care, C, and D. Basically like
Eh.
So let's start here from the right to the left. Mr. Johnson. Where are we ranking Mr. Johnson?
He's up there, but where up there?
What do we have, Mr. Johnson?
Hmm. I'm gonna give him hard eyes.
Hard Eyes, yeah. Because I think he didn't do a whole ton, but when he was, you're just like, oh, Mr. Johnson, I love you.
Just has these random moments, and they're like, it's perfect. Like,
they
just keep
really
being
are.
you.
Absolutely, he's the best. I'll say it once and say it again. He's very much like Creed in this show, but even more wholesome. I like that scene where he was like teaching Gregory how to have like a deeper voice.
Oh yeah.
He's like, you almost got it. All right,
Almost.
next we got Miss Melissa. How do you say her last name? Shementi?
Dementi?
Melissa Shementi. Miss Shementi.
Dementi? Miss
Um,
Dementi.
I thought she was pretty great this episode, honestly.
Me too. Me
I
too.
I
I'm
put her up there.
I'm glad we were able to see more of like her little background, see her
Mhm.
home, her very Italian home.
Yes, we found out that she is cousins with Vin Diesel, aka Vinny. That'd be funny when they have him come on the show, because you know they're gonna have him at some point.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He's gonna pop in. It's gonna be like season 6, and people are gonna be like, "Hey, isn't that your cousin?" Like we said, love that she was just teaching Janine, and they're doing their thing. I like that. Like she also was telling Janine, she's like, "Hey, can you stop and let Gregory talk?"
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be good to we're gonna see some moments where Janine over like time realizes her overextending her help and being extra nice is it's good and helpful, but you also gotta know when to do that, right?
Yep.
I love
And
Michael Scott.
mhm.
Speak of the devil, Janine Teagues, Miss Teagues. What do we think of her?
I was gonna say, and for that, I think I'm gonna put her in the middle.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, I do not care is a little harsh. I would say maybe it's just sort of like or neutral. But why would you put her there?
Like you said, like she does have moments where she wants to help, and I know she's coming from a good place, but sometimes it's just not needed, you
Yeah,
know?
it's a bit much, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that this was also just an episode where like it was sort of designed more for Gregory and some of the other characters to shine. And she did have that little moment with Gregory where she was like, don't do it, and he should have listened to her, but he didn't. And I believe it was the previous week we saw, or 2 weeks ago, we saw when he listened to her, right? So we're gonna see
Oh
that
yeah.
back and
Forth
forth, where they start to like realize they're there for together. And Mr. Johnson was like, "Are you guys fighting?" Are you guys fighting?
Oh yeah.
Honestly, the more I talk about it, I feel like Mr. Johnson should be higher. Like,
Legit.
yeah, like Mr. Johnson was pretty active in this episode.
All right, we'll move him up. We'll move him up.
Yeah. Jacob Hill, what'd you think about him?
Oh my god. I love Jacob, but oh god. He's like I know we didn't really talk much about last episode, but he's a
Mm-hmm.
very corny guy for sure.
Yes,
He's like the
definitely very
corniest
corny.
one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking I feel like I'd put him like with the same row with Janine, but I
Okay.
could also see him being at like
Hard
a
eyes.
C.
Oh, okay. C. Okay. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like C for cornier makes sense, right? Like
Oh,
he,
there you go.
we should put him in there. I think yeah, there was like some moments where he was trying to be like hip and cool, and we've seen him try to do that in the past already. So I kind of feel like yeah, that is his thing, but like I want to see him do a little bit more going forward. Like we know he's corny,
Absolutely.
but give him something else. Like he was sort of like, oh, I can't wait to. He made that corny joke about like when you're haggling, he goes above price or something like that because he wants to be like known as how he helps. But I'm like, give me a little bit more.
Give me a little more.
Ironically, Gregory's dad is on here, and we did see that little call. And I forgot that this dude was Gregory's dad.
Oh yeah.
Which is really funny. I think this dude was in Everybody Hates Chris too, which if I'm not mistaken.
What?
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, people, but I think he was like the principal or leader or something in that show Everybody Hates Chris. But I'm giving him a D for dad because he was also damaging to good old Gregory, and did a lot of harm to Gregory throughout this episode.
How dare he?
Yeah. Next, we have Gregory himself. Where would you put Gregory for this one?
Ooh. I'm gonna put him as Hard Eyes.
I think that's fair. Why'd you put him there?
I feel like, even though this episode was kind of between like Gregory and Melissa, I feel like obviously Melissa was more out there for this episode than Gregory in terms of growth, I feel like. But I don't know, maybe my decision will change by the end of this, but I think right now I'll put him at Hard Eyes for
I think what he did this episode was sort of realize and unpack a little bit of his childhood trauma, right? And I think he sort of realized that punishment isn't the only way. And he also realized that, there's two types of teachers that you can be based on the quote from Miss Barbara. You could either be a respected teacher or you could be a teacher who is feared, but you can't be both, right? And I think he made that snapshot decision to say, you know what, I'd rather be respected and loved. So he's decided, hey, this kid is obsessed with Bluey. Maybe if I put Bluey into the lesson plan, then it works a bit better. And I think this show, what's so important too about this character Gregory is he's learning in real time how to be empathetic and do things in different decisions, different ways, right? Gregory is like, he's teaching the audience, really, because I think a lot of the audience members as well, they're like, you're watching and you're like, how are you supposed to discipline this kid? Like, what are we supposed to do? This kid does not listen, right? And they give us a different way to solve that solution. And I think we've seen that a few times here with Gregory, who is a little bit more textbook and by the book than actually having experience. And now he's gaining some of that experience. So.
Okay. Yeah. I agree.
Next, we got Miss Barbara Howard. I would probably put Barbara in Hard Eyes personally, just because I think she sort of told Ava what needed to be told to push Gregory. She gave that advice. She had that funny little moment where she was singing happy birthday to the kids and then there she goes again.
That reminds me of that part, what was it, from Sing, the movie? Where, I forget, is it like the hippo that's like, or the elephant that keeps singing happy birthday?
Yeah, exactly.
I forget, but that reminded me a lot of that scene with Barbara.
Yeah, there's a lot of little callbacks, and like I know the woman who plays Barbara, Cheryl Lee Ralph, she was on Broadway and did some musicals. She was in Dreamgirls, so I'm sure at some point, they're gonna make that reference back there. Into some other like shows, because she can definitely sing, so I'm sure we'll see something at some point. And she always, the good Lord and all this stuff too. So it's just classic. It's just hard eyes. You're looking at her like a little grandma or something.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and last before we wrap this show up, Miss Ava Coleman. I don't know if you heard, guys. I'm a little bit sick of Ava, but how are you feeling about her personally, Talia?
She's still kind of rubbing me off the wrong way
Mm-hmm.
this season, but I feel like we'll probably see some growth in her again. But
Mm.
yeah, I feel like I can't give her more than I do not care. Or yeah.
I'm ready to
I
give
don't
her.
think I'd put her in the same tier as
Yeah.
as Janine, but maybe something lower.
Yeah, I would definitely say she's at C, maybe even D for me. Like, again, I know a lot of people she's a favorite. She's just really bad at her job, right? But I feel like, I don't know, like Gregory deserves that position because he actually cares about it in a different way. But I think Gregory needs the experience, right? So it might be one of those Dwight Schrute examples where over time he's bad and bad and bad, and then all of a sudden, boom. And I think, Ava, what's interesting about Ava is she looks at it from almost like a child's perspective. Like, she has a good pulse on what kids need and like feel. And I think she realizes, like she said that line, she's like, these kids are crying, snot nose, all that, as they're running to, like, getting sent to my office. Like, and you want me to punish them again and make them feel bad about themselves? No, I'm not gonna do that. And so I think that's again, she has those moments where she does that. She does the right thing, right? She like the last week's episode with the popsicles, right? With the extra fun money. So I think she has these moments where she does make the right choice, but ultimately it's like it takes her so long to get there, and I don't think that's the end of the world. But I would love to see these kids get a principal that is actually, wants to do the job. I feel like she'd be a better teacher versus principal, if that makes sense.
Who knows? She might switch.
She very well may so. But all right, so this is the tier list for episode 4 of the principal's office. Talia, you got any adjustments here you think we need to make?
No, I think it looks good, honestly.
I think this looks good myself.
Right.
Any predictions about maybe what we'll see next week or coming forward? We know the Halloween episode's coming up. What do you think you're gonna see in that episode?
Ooh, they might do maybe like either a haunted house. That's a good one. Maybe like in the gym or something, or maybe like a fundraiser.
Cupcakes or something like that. Yeah, like a bake sale. That could be a good idea. Is there anyone's costume that you're particularly excited to see what they'll do?
Oh, probably Mr. Johnson. But I could also see him doing like nothing at all. But maybe probably like Ava, maybe, because I feel like she goes all the way to the top with like her ideas sometimes. And I know she'll definitely think about herself with this costume.
Definitely something she can get on social, right? Yeah, I definitely think those two are the most interesting. I think I would like to see, or I'm predicting that we'll see a scene where one of the kids is dressed as Mr. Johnson, because I think a lot of times little kids look up to the janitors or the custodians because they're the heroes. They get the bugs, they clean up the milk, they give the kids high fives as you're walking by.
So I hope that's the case.
So that would be a very cute little scene. All right, that's going to do it for episode 4. Quinta, if you're watching and you need another writer in the writing room, I'm available. Hit me up. Make sure you guys subscribe because we make new content every single day. Thank you for everyone who has been subscribing. We finally hit 300, which is awesome. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.